Hey everyone, welcome to this free course called The Inner Game of Sales. Um, I'm creating this because I think there's a big need for this in the sales industry where a lot of people just do not know how to cope with their stress and their emotions. They just do not know how to deal with the roller coaster of sales. And so what you end up having is a bunch of sales reps who are insecure, constantly worried about getting fired, um, afraid of prospects, carry immense amounts of anxiety from meeting to meeting. You can have a top performing sales rep who hits quota every single month, who's a top performer, and he or she will still be uh, afraid of losing their job on any given day. And that to me indicates a need for education around this topic. So, this is something that I'm very involved with, and I practice all of this myself. And so it has helped me immensely with my own emotions and confidence. And, I'm still very early in my journey. I mean, I only started inner work about 2 years ago, maybe a year ago. So very, very fresh. I don't have a script or agenda. I have a brief template here that you can see. I haven't even hit play on this presentation, uh, but let's just get into it. So I'm going to start with the most important thing, and I'll conclude with this too. Feel your feelings fully. Um, that's it. If there's one takeaway here, it's that. Feel your feelings fully, and that'll help steer you in the right direction. And I'll get into what this means here very shortly. I want to share with you this screenshot of how it all started for me and what really got me going down this journey. So take a moment to read this and just, briefly skim it. This text basically changed my life, and it came out of nowhere. I was literally just on Instagram commenting on someone's video. I think the video had something to do with relationships, like relationships with other men. For me, I had a lot of girlfriends in my life, but I never had any guy friends. It seemed like I really struggled with relationships with other men, and so I wanted to improve that part of my life. And so I commented on a video, and some random dude just sent me this text, this DM, and I basically agreed to get on a call with him, and that's how it all started for me. Uh, and I'll follow up with this other screenshot that I posted on Reddit the other day. Got tons of upvotes, tons of appreciative comments and compliments that I wasn't expecting. So I'll share it here. This is kind of why I even created this presentation. But yeah, basically, someone's like, I love sales in the good times and absolutely hate it in the bad times. What keeps you sane? What keeps you sane in this insane industry? Uh, and so I said, you know, I've actually never thought of doing something more secure, and that's true. I love sales. I love sales because I was introverted growing up and super shy, and to me, sales was like a good, fun career that would pay me well, but also help me get out of my own comfort zone and break out of my shell. And so, this is basically the comment that I left. Uh, I've never thought of doing something more secure. I've only wished for more strength. I don't try to avoid, numb, or ignore the anxiety or stress. I feel it fully. I tune into it to understand it better. What am I afraid of? What am I really afraid of? And then I journal about it, think about it, and notice all the ways that I try to cope or run away. I notice that other sales reps run away, try to hide it, or cope by saying things like fake it till you make it, lie, fuck them, and find a new job. I don't. It's scary, and that's why I had to face it. That fuck them and find a new job comment I see all the time. You'll hear someone on the sales subreddit be like, "Hey, I need some advice. Basically, my quota doubled and I got a 3% raise. What the hell? I feel screwed over." And every comment is like, "Fuck them. Find a new job. Time to start interviewing." And I'm like, wait a second. Why don't we take a moment to sit with that anger? Like, you have every right to be angry, but why don't you confront that? Like, that's a very valid feeling and emotion. Why are you just isolating yourself and ignoring that anger and not doing anything about it? Like, finding a new job, yes, you probably should find a new job, but you should also confront the situation, deal with your emotion in a productive way, and have a mature adult conversation with your employer to figure it out. Stop running away, stop coping, and actually face your feelings and emotions in a productive way. That's why I created this presentation. So that's what we're going to go into, why inner work and managing your emotions is important in sales and in life. The process, which is basically just a journaling prompt, what to expect, and resources. Before I get into it, I just want to say that the reason why inner work and managing your emotions is so valuable is because sales is a roller coaster. Like, there's so many up and downs in sales. One day you're on top of the world because you closed X amount of deals. The next day you could feel completely upset because you had a deal slip or you missed your quota. And so, because sales is this emotional roller coaster, that's exactly why this process of this learning how to manage your emotions is so important, and why it's so valuable, and in my opinion, mandatory. It can't be, you shouldn't avoid it. So why inner work and managing your emotions is important. Basically, what inner work does is it reveals your patterns, limiting beliefs, and maladaptive behaviors that aren't serving you well. That's basically it. That's all we're doing here. We just want to reveal what is going on in our life, uh, and so that we can fix it. That's basically what we're doing here. Um, if and you need inner work, this is right for you if there's something you want but you don't have, but technically you can get it. Like, if there's something you want but you don't have it and you technically can go get it, meaning like you want to go get ice cream, but this is a stupid example. You want to go get ice cream. You technically can go outside your house and go buy the ice cream. There's nothing stopping you from doing it. Yet you don't have the ice cream. Why don't you have the ice cream? There's something going on from in your headspace, or from a mental standpoint, or a beliefs standpoint, that's stopping you from getting what you want. And so in sales, like, for a classic example is crippling cold anxiety. You can technically make a call and call anybody. You can pick up your phone, you can find their information somewhere easily with tools like Zoom Info or Apollo these days. There's nothing stopping you from cold calling, and yet you can't do it. What's going on there? You need this is for you if you've been suppressing your feelings, nervousness, anxiety. Um, if you lack true core confidence, for example, you still feel like a child, or like an inner child, or you're an adult but like you still feel kind of like a little kid inside, you should do inner work. um and if you have been faking it till you make it, lying, avoiding confrontation, if you're nervous before all sales calls, if you face crippling cold calling anxiety, if you feel like no matter what you do you suck at sales, or you have imposter syndrome, these are all signs that you need to do some inner work. Um, Avoidance is a really clear sign that you're scared of your emotions and feelings and what might happen if you look under the hood. Avoidance is like the biggest sign to me that someone needs inner work. If you're avoiding like difficult conversations, tense conversations, sticky situations, like you avoid problems altogether, you probably need inner work. Um, if you've suppressed or repressed any negative feelings, if you do this regularly, they will find ways to express themselves. Unresolved issues that you have from childhood, from getting bullied, from abandonment, growing up, any bullshit that happened to you growing up. If you haven't processed that, if you haven't actually faced it or admitted it, or like admitted to yourself how it's impacting you, it's going to come out and express itself in one way or another. It's probably already expressing itself in your sales calls and in the workplace. And that's why you're nervous or afraid of getting fired all the time. It's because you have all this pent up emotion and, for lack of a better term, trauma. By the way, trauma is not, it doesn't even have to mean that like you went through some crazy shit. It could mean like I got bullied when I was in school, or there was a time when, like, growing up, my parents would yell at me anytime I made mistakes. Those are things that will carry with you if you don't resolve it. But the beauty of all this, honestly, it's that, like, feeling your feelings and bringing awareness to them is what makes them go away. That's it. Like, the beauty of all this is that we just need to bring awareness to it, and things start to dissolve and get better. And so this is just an image I wanted to include here of what's going on for a lot of sales reps. This used to be me too. I remember hitting President's Club, and I sold like $2 million worth of software in 1 year. They sent us to Hawaii, fully expensed, 4-star or 5-star hotel for a whole week. We were drinking margaritas on the beach every day, all paid for. But I remember still feeling like I didn't deserve it, and that I was a phony, basically. Like, I remember trying to um like cancel it for some reason. I would cancel my accomplishments in my mind, like, I got this award for selling so much in 1 year and basically hitting 107% of quota. And I remember being at the event, being at President's Club, being at the beach, speaking with my colleagues and getting compliments and feeling like I didn't actually earn it. I remember in my mind and to my girlfriend being like, I hit quota, but it was because I had a good territory, or it's because you know, I inherited blah, blah, blah accounts. Like, I canceled myself out. I canceled out my accomplishment. And so even though I was technically this top performer, I still felt weak and insecure deep inside. And so a lot of people feel this way. And if you feel this way, there's a better way. Uh, so this is basically the meat and potatoes. This is how you get through this. This is how you start getting through it. How to process your emotions and self-therapy. So basically you want to journal about it every day. Every day. You should be spending time just like ruminating on what happened throughout the day, and just thinking about it and feeling it. And if you can do this, you're going to basically start to process your emotions in a healthy way. So basically what you do is you journal about what happened, what was like the really triggering or activating situation that happened. How did it feel? Like, truly take the time to feel your feelings fully. You'll feel the, like, anxiety in your feet. Every time you get nervous, you experience cold sweat in your hands, feet, and armpits. Really feel the feelings fully so that you can tap into the emotion and journal about it, and like uncover what's really scaring you, or what you're really afraid of happening. And then how did you cope as a result of these feelings? Journal about that. Then journal about why did you engage in this maladaptive behavior. If you're coping in a negative way or a maladaptive way, it's for a reason. It feels good. That's why you're coping with it. You cope with your negative emotions in a way that feels good, but it's usually a maladaptive way. That's why you're here. You probably keep hitting the same wall over and over and over again. And then you journal about what belief this reinforces. The only goal we have here is to bring awareness to the issue. That's it. We're not trying to fix anything. We're just trying to bring awareness to it and connect the dots. We're just doing examination. There's nothing bad. There's nothing negative. Don't try to label it or judge it. Just bring awareness to the issues by journaling about them and talking about them to your friend, to your dog, to your girlfriend, to a therapist. But journaling alone will get you very far. I recommend journaling 10 to 20 minutes a day or longer. This should feel like a deeply introspective process. It should feel like examination, connect the dots. And as you're journaling, feel it fully. Like, feel your emotions fully. As you journal, you should be feeling like these emotions almost rise up again. Replay the memory or the event in your mind and see how it activates within you. What emotions, images, projections, memories, sensations, and narratives arise. And journal about all that. And that's it. Just bring awareness to it. That's all we're doing. I actually recommend keeping phone notes on your phone. I keep a personal journal that I journal every night in. I physically write. It helps me bring out a lot more of my realizations and feelings. But throughout the day, I have notes. I have a folder in my notes on my iPhone where I can just add any journal entries throughout the day, because there's a lot of realizations and connections that can happen in a moment's notice. So you want to note them before they go away. An example of journaling would be something like this. I got a big rejection while cold calling today. I don't know why, but I've been ruminating on it all day. It reminds me of the time that my dad yelled at me growing up, and I sort of realized that every time I'm making cold calls, I'm basically like replaying this memory in my mind. I basically feel like a little kid again, crying, weak, and scared of older people. I noticed that I try to cope with this feeling by acting cool around my colleagues and prospects. Like, I'm always trying to act like an alpha male. Ultimately, this reinforces a negative belief that I'm not good enough. Like, I don't actually belong here and I probably shouldn't be in sales. Huh. That's interesting though. Like, it's funny. It's kind of interesting that I cope in that way. Why do I do that? Why do I try to act cool? Like, I don't even think I'm cool inside. Why do I try to cope that way? You know? And I never made that connection. But I basically equate some of my prospects to my dad. Like, I imagine them as these scary authority figures. Huh. Interesting. And you want to do this every day. Stuff comes up almost every day. You'll start to like unravel the limiting patterns and beliefs that you have. So just an example. Myths. People are so afraid of feeling their emotions and addressing them and actually admitting that they're there because they're afraid that it'll come true. Like, oh, if I think about this stuff, or I admit that I'm like really nervous about a sales call going wrong and me getting fired, that it'll actually come true. Or if I focus on the negative, I'll just make it come true and become negative. That's not going to happen. Like, it's not going to happen. Trust me. And no, this doesn't make you lame or a wimp or a sad boy or depressed or whatever it is. And you're not just going to become a negative person. We're being smart and healthy and proactive here by actually examining what's going on under the roof. And what inner work is not. Inner work is not repeating affirmations in the mirror every day. It's not faking it till you make it and endlessly trying to convince yourself that everything is good when it's not. Inner work is not watching motivational YouTube videos or reading motivational platitudes and inspiring quotes on Instagram. Inner work is not ignoring the negative stuff. Like, if you pretend the negative stuff is not there, it doesn't mean that it's not there or it's not true. Gym, drugs, smoking weed, drinking, all that stuff feels good, but it's not inner work. I'll leave you with this. We're almost wrapping up, and I have to actually get out for dinner, so I'm going to wrap this up soon. I could talk about this stuff all day. So, you are your own nutrition. This is the ultimate anti-coping mechanism. And when you start to go down this path, you'll realize, and you'll remember this video, but it'll kind of hit you in a few months from now. Every problem you face, the answers to the problems we face are within us. The kingdom of God in heaven is within you. You don't have to be religious to understand that. It just basically means there's wisdom inside of you. There's insight inside of you. You just have to look. The teachings of the great masters unfold from within as one's own personal experience. I guess there's books that, every book, the Bible, everything says that like there's there's wisdom within you. So actually, like everyone's figured this out. The smart people in the world have figured this out. The truth shall set you free. Yes, that's why we bring awareness to this. Like, we're admitting the really uncomfortable truths, and know thyself. But anyway, this is I can't remember, Ouroboros. It's like a mythical creature, I guess, but it's a snake eating itself. You are your own nutrition. The wisdom is within you. We just had to bring awareness to it. And as we bring awareness to it, the patterns dissolve. Resources and next steps. Honestly, I didn't discover this on my own. I learned this from a guy named Mark Darien, and he has his own website called Animus Empire. I recommend taking his program. I really do. I think he's like lowered the cost to $100. I don't know, but really you should talk to him. I would save up money for that. If this is important for you, I would save up money for that course. I would buy the book or audiobook Power of Focusing by Ann Weiser. It'll help you tune into your sensations and your body and your feelings a lot more. And Introduction to Internal Family Systems by Richard Schwartz. It'll expose you to the different parts of yourself, like the inner child, the inner critic, all these different parts of yourself that are within you that, help reinforce these patterns and negative beliefs and narratives and all that stuff. And therapy. This is basically what therapy is. I did not know that this is what therapy is. You don't have to go to therapy, but I highly recommend it once you start getting the ball rolling on this, because you're gonna realize you have a lot to talk about. But yeah, basically what you do in therapy is you talk about everything you discover, everything you go through in your journaling process, and you share it with your therapist, and they help you put all the patterns together. They help you understand yourself better. They help uncover your unconscious patterns. I also recommend journaling about this on an app called Rosebud AI. It's called Rosebud AI. I forgot to include the link here, but it's a journaling app that helps with this. But yeah, and if you go to therapy, just go to normal talk therapy. Search for a psychotherapist. Anyone that specializes in that that's the right kind of therapy. These are really the only three resources you need. But if you pick one, I recommend the Animus Empire course. I'm not affiliated. I just seriously think it's game changing. And that's it. Feel your feelings fully. I told you we would come back to this. Wow, I made it in 23 minutes. And I got to go in 2 minutes. I got to walk out the door. So I hope this helped. Please leave me a comment if it did. And if you have any questions, just leave a comment. Share this with friends. Yeah, I really hope this helps. I'm right here with you. I'm not a guru on this. I'm going through it myself. And, I can't speak to the benefits. It's just really been, I'm grateful. So hopefully it helps you too. Cheers.